Welcome to Kung Fu Africa number 2. So we're going to talk about this video I'm about to show you from a TikTok channel. Yeah. So I'm stitching with this person. I have the volume turned down, so we're going to actually go to his actual video, turn the volume up.
It's absolutely
and we're going to talk about it after I show it to you.
The cage or your dojo.
So we're gonna wait.
It's useless. You can't do a double leg takedown on concrete. You're gonna fuck yourself. Even if you do take him down to the ground.
I've mentioned this before. So hold on. Alright.
BJJ is absolutely useless outside of the cage or your dojo. It's useless on the street. It's useless. You can't do a double leg takedown on concrete. You're gonna fuck yourself. Even if you do take him down to the ground, many submissions don't work if he can bite or if he can scratch your eyes or if he can pull a mat. You don't know if he has friends. You're gonna take him to the ground, put him in an arm bar, and his friend's gonna fucking football kick you in the head or curb stomp you. You're gonna die. The number one, let me tell you something. BJJ is
Okay. So this is my stitch.
Useless outside of the cage.
Echo Fan Grey Wolf here, aka James Williams Jr. So, is the speech recording? Yeah, it's recording. For context, go follow that. So, without sounding like a hypocrite, first and foremost, I agree with everything that is said. I do not, will not, and cannot recommend BJJ for the streets. What I can say is, for everybody who's my age, in the 50s, like anybody between 55 to 50, maybe 45. Let's just put it this way. If you're a Generation Xer, you should know, if you don't know, about Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, alright? Where you're standing on your feet, alright? Because those do exist. They're not as popular as they was when they first started coming out, except Judo should be because it's still an Olympic event. Alright, and most things that are martial arts, when they become an Olympic event, they lose the gravitas of what they really were meant for.
Okay, time for me to shut up. And, go to what I was going to do. First, I'm going to turn this volume down. Put this thing over here. Going to comb out the hair. Then we're going to brush the hair while we talk. So when that video came across my FYP, I decided to make 5 videos with that. They're all 10 minutes long. I'm not going to put y'all through that shit here. But if you can find me on TikTok under my government name, _ JW, or JW _ Braywolf616, aka EFG. I think I said it right. I'm not gonna swear to it. But I tell you what I can do. I can tell you exactly what the fuck I can do. Click back on that profile thing. And there you go. See where it says that at the top and then at the bottom? Like right there and right there. Okay, so now you know where you can find them. Alright, so y'all can go watch them. This is pretty much a rehashing / continuation. And I threw that hair way away from the damn trash bag. Way away from the trash bag. So this is more like a continuation or a rehashing on my feelings about BJJ. In those 5 videos, I bring up my military training and some other stuff. My partner kicking my ass because he was so tall and so heavy, and I live in reality, and what they was teaching us would probably get you fucking killed on the street. That part's 1,000% a fact, because the dude was like every bit of 6'6" and every bit of 300 pounds. If not, he was close enough to 300 pounds that I knew he was sitting on my chest. Now, don't get me wrong. And if you do BJJ, I'm not here to knock you. I'm not here to hurt your feelings. And if you watch any of my videos, I have insulted BJJ. I've also acknowledged the fact that I suck at it. Which is why I have insulted BJJ on multiple occasions. And I say this because also, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Once a martial art becomes a sport, it loses its validity on what it's actually for. Most people who take Taekwondo because they want to be Taekwondo champions. Most people who take Jiu-Jitsu, or, well, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rather, they take it because they want to become champions in that sport. Same thing can be said with Wushu. I follow a lot of Wushu people around that do a lot of Wushu. Now, does that mean they can beat my ass in the street? No, because Wushu is no longer a street fighting martial art. It is pure excitement, adventure, and entertainment. Alright? And this is why I said it loses the vitality of what they were for once they become a sport. You don't have to agree. You don't have to like it. Does not change the fact that that shit is the truth. You hear about more people doing Taekwondo than you hear about them doing Kempo. You hear more people doing Wushu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Capoeira because they have become more sport versus martial art. And I'm going to say it with my full chest. Once it becomes more sport than martial art, it loses its vitality. It loses its valuability. And why, you may ask, am I saying that? When I took Taekwondo, I knew it wasn't an Olympic sport. But there's two types of Taekwondo. There's Olympic style Taekwondo, and then there's the real shit. Which they're both real shit. It's just that Olympic style is I'm gonna say it's more about safety and flash versus OG Taekwondo, where it's more about I'm gonna kick your ass at a distance, but I'm still gonna kick your ass, and you're gonna know that it was me who kicked your ass, which was the Taekwondo I was taking under the masters of Master Jim Ennis, who would later switch to Naharate. Don't ask me how to spell that, because that's like his own style of Taekwondo, which, as I have told people many a times, that when you start taking a martial art, you are basically taking whatever the teacher teaches you, and whatever he disguised it as in whatever name and whatever form he took, he has evolved or devolved the style so that it can be taught to you. You, in turn, if you become a teacher in that same art, will do the same thing. You will evolve it or you will devolve it to the fact of where it can work and what can and cannot work. I am very fond of telling people that you're going to find out what works and what doesn't, which is why I have a 70-30 policy for people who are only taking martial arts just for the sake of taking martial arts and not for the sake of using it for combat. But you know, you're taking it as a sport, or you're taking it just to say, oh well, I know martial arts. Okay, everybody and their mama knows martial arts now. It's 2023. You know, so it's not like other people don't know martial arts. Now, what can they do with that martial art will solely depend on them and their skill set, which is why I said 70-30. 30% of what you know will work in the street, 70% won't, because it's not street taught. And let me explain that before people decide to go ballistic at me in the comments. And sorry about the ass shot. If you're not training at home after you go from the dojo to home, you're just taking a martial art. You're not really being a martial artist per se, but you are still being a martial artist. You're not being a martial art to where it means everything to you like me. Alright? The worst day of my life was them telling me I could never do martial arts again because of my hip replacement. So that kind of sucked. But after my hip replacement and after being on the shelf for 3 years, and it was like, okay, you're good. But you can no longer do this art, this art, this art, and this art, because they involve your feet leaving the ground for more than anything other than a certain amount of time. So no tornado kicks, no reverse tornado kicks, no jumping spin kicks, no butterfly kicks. I have broken those rules so many times. Worth it. Because martial arts is all I have. Fighting is all I have. Those are the 1, 2, 3 damn things that I know I can do as good, if not as better as anyone else. I just haven't ever had the chance to actually been given a chance to shine with my shit. So thank you to the 305 of you here for that. Now understand, there's sport fighting, there's dojo fighting, and there's street fighting. I know you're all like, there's a fucking difference. Yes, there's a fucking difference. See, if you're fighting in the dojo, 9 times out of 10, it's probably just a tournament that involves tap touching. You know, if you're fighting in the UFC, that means you're going full hardcore, no pads, none of that shit to protect you, other than you better have a good set of skills. And there's a championship in both of those. Now, in the streets, things work differently, which is basically what those 5 videos about. They are about how things work differently in the streets. Because just because you have a black belt doesn't mean you can go outside that dojo and whoop everybody's ass. Even though you can whoop everybody's ass in the dojo, does not mean you can whoop everybody's ass out of the dojo. You understand the clusterfuck? You could be a UFC champion and be good as fuck in that ring and bump into the wrong guy at the right night and wind up losing your ass to him because, you know, I'm a UFC champion. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to get smoked for it, but I'm only going to tell you because it's true. The relevancy of your belt is only relevant in the dojo. The relevancy of your UFC champion, or whatever sport championship you have, whether it's wrestling, whether it's UFC, whether it's rec, whether it's Havoc, whether it's one champion, the relevancy of that only counts in the professional manner. So when you're not in the professional setting, when you're not on TV, when you're not in the arenas and defending your championship, that shit means nothing. And I know everybody says, oh, well, you're just jealous because you never got the chance. No, I'm angry I never got the chance. Not jealous. Thin line between being angry and jealousy. See, one, I didn't get the chance because they didn't have my weight class until I got over the weight that I normally was. So, got no need to be jealous. Got every need to be angry because if I would have got the job at 19, at 50, my name would be in lights everywhere. Because I was that fucking good. Whether you choose to believe it or not, hey, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I know what I'm capable of doing because I'm still capable of doing some of that shit. I just can't do it because of fucking hip replacement casualties. Need to add some light on the subject. On the subject. Anyway, you have to understand, and I say this with my full chest, I say this to protect y'all as well as to teach you. You have to understand how fights work. You literally have to understand how fights work. If you're fighting in a dojo and you're the championship of the dojo and other dojos come and compete and you beat their ass, and the next dojo and you beat their ass, and you're like top 3 in the whole goddamn state. Cool. You're top 3 in your state. Great. That doesn't mean you're top 3 international. That just means you're top 3 in your state. You understand where we're going with this? So let's say now you have an international and you're in the bottom 15. Now, your state's not going to complain because you can beat everybody in your fucking state. But that's one state. There's 50 of them and you're in the top 15. That's not bad for 50 states. That one guy that's at the top, that one that's just like Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, just fucking everybody up. That's the guy you gotta beat. And if you don't get past the other 14 guys, you're never gonna have to deal with him. No? So, that doesn't mean you can beat Kenshiro. Hell, they might not even make him fight. It's like, nah, this motherfucker has just been devastating everybody. He's gone from state to state, city to city, and he's hit every city in every state, and he's beating everybody's ass. Yeah, you might not want to fight that motherfucker either. But, you know, you're gonna work your way to getting there. But you might decide, you know what? This motherfucker done been over 2,000 towns in the United States of America. Starting with Alaska, moving down the western seaboard, hit Hawaii, come back over, then New Mexico, Texas, and then zoom back all the way up from Montana and go back down and then go back up. And he's hitting every city in every state. And he's winning. No losses whatsoever. He's the top 1 out of 15 guys. You're going to be worried about that guy. Now, you could get to him and lose, which will make you number 2. And when they say there's no points for second best, that will change their mind. The difference maker is he went from city to city, state to state. Like in every city, even small backwater towns, just beat everybody's ass. You just beat everybody in your state. You didn't go from city to city, but you beat the top guys because they came to your tournament. That's a big difference between one guy going basically all around America starting in Alaska. Every city in Alaska, from Juneau to the other little island cities, and then all the way back down, hitting Washington State, every city in there, hitting Oregon, every city in there, hitting California. And there's a lot of cities in California. He's going there and he's beating everybody's ass, and he's top 15. You are number 15 in the top 15. Out of all the people in the world, you're top 15. And again, that's no slouching on your half. It's just that those top 5 guys either been doing this shit since they was like 4, or they're just the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. Now, let's say you lose the tournament. A few days go by. You bump into this guy and y'all ain't seeing eye to eye. And then you whoop his ass. What does that mean? Does that mean because he beat your ass at the tournament that he can beat you again? No, it just means that you need to work more in the tournament. Because if you beat him out in the streets, 2 things happen. Either it was your day to beat that motherfucker, or he was only great until he wasn't. And I tell that to everybody. I say, everybody's good until they're not. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? I said, it's really quite simple. I started fighting at 6. We didn't have cameras and shit, because that would have been considered child abuse. I'm grateful that my uncles and them made me fight. I'm not ungrateful. I'm very grateful. They're the ones who aren't grateful because they created a monster. And when you create a monster, you need to be able to control that monster. And if you can't control that narrative of that monster will rip your throat out. And now you know why they don't like me that much. It's like, yeah, we got to be careful around James, because that motherfucker's kind of crazy. But they made me that way. And then I joined the army. That didn't help them. It helped me, except for BJJ. And now I'm 50. No. I'm still younger than them, and I still got more to learn. They just can't teach me shit. Because I'm pretty sure by the time I was 15, they realized, yeah, we probably fucked up. No. And then as I got older, I'm pretty sure they really realized, yeah, we fucked up. We created a fucking monster. And they did. And the thing you got to understand is that there is no fate with what you create. If you create a monster, you better be able to control it. And if you cannot control it, the monster will control you. You know how they say the lunatics are running the asylum? That's me. The lunatic that's running the fucking asylum. Now understand, when it comes down to fighting, the only martial arts that I haven't really dubbed in was Sashima, or Shishima, I don't know how the fuck you say it. Kali, because I just learned about that like 4 or 5 years ago. Fucking Krav Maga and Salat. But everything else that then came from the big 3 plus 1, I've dabbled in it, you know. Mostly I've done Chinese Kung Fu, Japanese Karate, and Taekwondo and Kempo. You know, that's from China, Korea, and Japan. I've dabbled in Thai fighting. I've dabbled in capoeira. Am I good at them? Probably not now. Was I ever good in them? I had potential. You know, if you whipped up on me and you started working capoeira, I know I could hold my own against you. Yeah, I might not be able to beat your ass, but I'd be able to hold my own. You would have to work to fucking win. That's what I'm saying. And this is why learning that you can take a hit and learning that you actually can fight is a thing. And just because you can beat everybody in your city, in your state, in your town, doesn't mean you can beat everybody in the fucking world. And people get that shit misconstrued when they get a black belt. Oh, I got a black belt. I'm a bad motherfucker. No, you're just a man with a black belt who knows a martial art. Doesn't mean you're a bad motherfucker. It just means everybody that you have encountered just didn't have enough skill or strength or cardio to handle you at the time. People don't like reality checks. I'm cashing in a big one right now. You can be a good fighter. You can be a great fighter. There's going to be someone who's working harder. There's going to be someone who's breaking that sweat. There's going to be someone who's so fucking driven and focused that you're either going to fight to a draw, or they're going to knock you out, or you're going to have to kill each other for the fight to stop. I believed I was one of those guys. Because if you ask anybody who's ever sparred with me, or anybody who's ever roughed house with me, I'm that guy who just does not run out of energy. I'm that guy that you're huffing and puffing and I'm still ready to go. I'm still ready to go. And I told y'all this story before, so I'll give you the cliff notes. Each of my nephews, whose diapers I have changed, have gotten brolic bigger than me and have wanted to fight me. just to see what the fuck they can do. And I have told them time and time again, I said, y'all fail to understand how this works. Y'all ain't never grew up in the projects. Y'all ain't never been to a rumble. Y'all ain't never had to worry about a motherfucker attacking you when you walk home from school. And I only had to walk home from school when we missed the bus. But I still had to make it from that bus stop to my motherfucking door. And sometimes I'd have arguments, and sometimes I'd have fights. So I had more arguments than fights, just to clear that up. But I lived in the projects. My mom was white presenting. Motherfuckers are always bigger than me. I've always thought that, because I'm mixed, they could do what they want. And that I was just going to allow that shit to happen. And that was not a fucking option. Because my uncles and them prepared me for this shit. You're the runt of the litter. You are going to fight. Whether you like it or not, you are going to fight. And, fight I did. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. If there was a fight to be done, there was a fight to be done. And my uncles and them used to make me fight since I was 6 years old. And I had to explain to my nephews, it's like, look, I'm older than your parents. I'm older than your father. Before your parents were twinkles in my mama's eyes and in your granddaddy's dicks into her pussy, I was in the fucking streets fighting. It wasn't a choice, because my uncles used to pick me up after school. This is what's going to happen. You can fight this motherfucking kid. And you better not fucking lose. And so I didn't. Then I have to explain to them, dude, I'm like 30-something years old. I'm like 40-something years old. And each time I had to explain to them, y'all don't understand how fights work. Well, I knocked out 5 guys, okay? Big fucking deal. You think you're gonna knock out number 6, and you think that I'm gonna just lay there and let that shit happen, right? It's like, well, I can do it. I said, well, I don't doubt that you can. But I'd like to know what the fuck you think gonna be happening when I'm just gonna stand there and allow that shit to happen, because that's not how this shit works. So we had some boxing matches. I've lost every boxing match. But not technically. I lost because they wouldn't go another round. They got their hits in, thought they was doing some shit. And they like this. And I'm like this. Let's go another round. Nah, man, nah. Also, let's call it fair for me. You can't use your feet. You can't use your feet. And then I would tell them, I said, let me break this down for you real quick. I'm your uncle. I'm not gonna hurt you. But if you get into a fight with somebody else, and you tell them they can't use their feet, you could be reading some motherfucking Nikes. Because I ain't never been in a fight where I done told somebody, nah, you can't use your feet. Motherfuckers a fight. Whatever they need in that arsenal of that fight, they are going to use. And these motherfucking nephews of mine, as tough as they think they are, no. Y'all not tough. Y'all don't know what the fuck tough means. You just think you tough. If you got to get into a fight with somebody and tell them that they can't use their feet, you don't know how to fight. I say, because you ain't going to tell that guy when you face down in the dirt not to kick you in the head, because he's already going to kick you in the head. That's already set in his mind, because that's unfortunately a black thing that black people like to do, is kick a man while he's down. And I said it. I said what I said. That's a black thing that most black people like to do. Every now and again, you might find a white person that's just as ruthless that will do that, but most of the time, in the hood, only black people did that shit. Only black people. I've never kicked a man while he was down. Especially after he's been beaten. He's beaten, There's no need to go scratch that. I have kicked a man while he was down, but he was not beaten. It's how I beat him. Because I had to kick him while he was down. I told y'all the story about the golf cleats and the gigantic guy whose ass I had to beat. Didn't have a choice. He grabbed my leg, and if he would have pulled me down, it would have been over for me. He outweighed me by about 400 pounds. So my leg just went into overdrive. So I take that back. I have kicked a man while he's down. Didn't do it since then, though. Thought about it a few times, but didn't do it since then. But the point being made is, if you're going to get into a fight, you need to understand anything and everything goes in the streets. Hands, feet, knives, weapons, whatever. Because that's how fights work. You get a fight in a dojo, you get a fight in an arena. There are rules in place for your safety so that you don't fucking die. My nephews and them don't understand that shit because they think, oh, well, I can control the narrative of this fight. You can't use your feet. And I say, yeah, you can control the narrative of this fight because I'm your fucking uncle. and said, if I was your age and you came at me with some bullshit and I know that my feet are my advantage to you, oh, you going home. You going home in pieces, but you going to fuck home. Because I'm going to beat the fucking brakes off you for you thinking that I'm not going to use my feet. And I'm not talking about running. I'm going to be running right at your shit. I'm going to kick you dead in your motherfucking chest. And then I'm going to stand on that bitch and do the Ronnie Garvin stomp on your shit because you think that this is a fucking fight. And you just think I'm going to sit here and let you beat my ass? No. This is how they won sparring matches with me because I didn't use my feet. And it's like, no, you can't use your feet. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, you think I don't need my feet? And I said, I'm your uncle. I ain't trying to hurt you. But I can promise you, the next guy you tell that shit to, there's gonna be a big ass Nike print on your motherfucking forehead because you think that some bitch ain't gonna use his feet. If a motherfucker knows karate and he can whoop your ass with karate or kung fu or any martial art whatsoever, and y'all just strangers in the night, he not gonna honor that shit. He not gonna sit there like, alright man, alright, I don't use my feet. Motherfucker, you be a goddamn idiot to believe that shit. How Stone Cold Steve Austin said, DTA motherfucker. If you dumb enough to think for a New York minute that somebody who knows martial arts isn't going to use their feet to fuck you up because it's a real fight, you are really dumber than dumb can get. And I had to explain that to them each time. I got to stand up, y'all. My leg is fucked up. And it's not even the bad hip. It's the hip that we're trying to save. So, you know, you gotta understand, fights work on the principle of first we ran our mouths and then somebody got punched in it. And that person either is going to get up and punch me back or they're going to go sleep. It's just that simple. And I'm either going to get hit here or here or here or here, and I need to be prepared for that. You are not going to run up on some asshole in the middle of the street and say, alright, let's go. You can't use your feet. Alright. Y'all see that, right? My fingers are crossed. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. And you're going to come at that motherfucker, bam, right out the gate. And if you are still conscious, the last thing that's going to be coming out of your mouth is, you can't use your feet. It's the same thing. I have a ponytail. I'm not going to be sitting here in a fight telling somebody who's holding my hair and punching me in the face, let go of my hair. Like, no, I'm going to be fighting back. My hair's just going to have to grow back. What's left of it? It's just going to have to grow the fuck back. I'm not going to be sitting here bitching about my hair being pulled. No, I'm going to be taking it to your ass the same way you taking it to mine. I know I have a ponytail. I know I'm in danger of that shit getting pulled. Same thing if you got dreadlocks. You know you have them. Put on a cap. You know, do something to give you the advantage so they can't get it. I'm not above black bagging a motherfucker if we're in a fight either. I'm pretty sure y'all don't know what that is, but that's you taking their shirt, pulling it over their head, and get the tough and wrap it around. So now you got the tough and you're pulling, boom, boom, boom. If you're not a hockey fan, go watch the Penguins. They were pretty fun for doing that. And so were the Mighty Ducks and some other people. But it's a fight. It's a straight fight. There are no rules in a street fight, except for survival. You want to survive a street fight? The best idea is just don't get involved. Keep this bitch shut and you'll be fine. But if you think you're a badass and you go up against somebody and you find out that you're not as bad as you thought you were, you're going to fuck around and find out. And this is the problem with a lot of people. I'm 5'3.5". I'm a strong believer in if you don't start it, there shouldn't be any. But on the other hand of that track, I have been the bully. I have been the victim of bullying by people who are way up here starting shit. Like, yeah, we're going to fuck James up. He a small motherfucker. After that little tidbit, I'm still here, standing above these tall motherfuckers that thought they were going to whoop my ass. So again, as I close out, first things first, understand how fights work. Second thing, know your way around a fight. Just because you have a belt does not mean you can beat everybody's ass. Just because you can beat everybody in your city and in your state. You only fought the people that came to the dojo. You ain't fought the people in the street. Street fighting and sport fighting are two different things. Sport fighting is great. It's a championship application. There's money involved, and somebody's going to get paid. In fact, both people are going to get paid because it's a sporting event. Like, and I mean professional sports like UFC and wrestling and shit like that. But like amateur fights, you might get something, you might not. That's just kind of how those things work. Besides the glory of being in the ring, you might get something, you might not. But a street fight, ain't no fucking rules out in the streets, and that's something that you're gonna need to accept. It's something that you better be prepared for, because if you're not, you're gonna wish you were. And you're gonna fuck around and find out, and then you're gonna be like, oh damn, and you're gonna be taking the horizontal position. I'm Echo from Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Ever number 2. Be seeing you.